Hello students, welcome back to your biology sessions. As you all know that your vacation batches have been started, so I, Mrs. Jia Balchandani, am going to take care of your biology session for some time. And to start with it, I am going to begin with the chapter Absorption by Roots, the processes involved. Okay? So, I hope you all are enjoying your vacation. Yeah? घर पे हो, so I'm sure enjoy तो कर रहे हो. थोड़े थोड़े sessions होते हैं, so that is fair enough with you all. Okay? Starting with our biology for today. So in today's session, what do we need to learn? We need to study something about plant physiology. My dear students, the chapter absorption by root comes under the unit of plant physiology. What do you understand by plant physiology? Plant physiology means it's the branch of biology wherein you have to understand the overall functioning of the plant body. How the cells, the tissues, the organs, the organ systems of the plant function. All these functioning you'll have to study in this unit called as plant physiology. As you all know that the entire unit 2, which includes the first chapter, absorption by roots, which includes the chapter transpiration, which includes the chapter photosynthesis, and which includes the chapter chemical coordination in plants. All these 4 chapters are included under the unit of plant physiology. Okay, wherein you have to understand the functions of the plant body. Right? Now, if we want to understand this chapter, the main phenomenon which is related with this chapter is the process of osmosis. What do we need to learn with this chapter is, we need to understand the exact definition or meaning of osmosis. I'm sure many of you all must be knowing what is osmosis. Can you all just think of what is osmosis? I have drawn a diagram at the end of this slide. Okay, I would want you all to focus on this diagram first. There are 2 beakers. I have labeled it A and B. Okay, now this diagram is related to the definition of osmosis. Now since this chapter is going to explain you all the basics of osmosis, right? And on the basis of this definition, you are going to understand how are the roots of the plant going to undergo the process of absorption. You need to know what is osmosis. Okay? So, I hope everyone knows that what is osmosis. You all would be saying that osmosis is the movement of the water from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, right? So, my dear students, if we focus on this diagram, there are 2 beakers, beaker A and beaker B. In beaker A, I have taken 90 ml of water and 10 grams of sugar. In beaker B, I have reversed the situation. I have just taken 10 ml of water and I have added 90 grams of sugar. Okay, you have to melt the sugar in both the beakers. Okay, beaker B, maybe you will have to heat and you have to melt the sugar. Now tell me which one is more concentrated. Can you all think of which one is more concentrated? Sugar solution ज़्यादा किस में है? It is obvious the sugar is more in beaker B. So, the more concentrated sugar solution is that of solution B. Okay. What does the definition of osmosis say? Osmosis says movement of the water molecules. Please concentrate. It says movement of the water molecule from high water concentration to low water concentration. My dear students, if you all mere say movement of the water concentration from movement of the water फ्रॉम हाई कॉन्सेंट्रेशन टू लो कॉन्सेंट्रेशन, तो पानी यहाँ पर B से A में जाएगा, because you all just now said B is concentrated and A is less concentrated, right? तो तुम्हारी definition के हिसाब से the water will move from B to A. No, but the definition of osmosis says it is the movement of the water molecules from high water concentration to low water concentration. So please keep this definition in your mind, and this is the key definition on the basis of which the entire process of the absorption by the roots are being dependent. Okay, so what do we need to learn in this chapter? Now tell me, why are the root part in the plant important? If you all think, why are they important? First thing is to give the support to the plant body. Yes, it is the roots which are present in the soil. It's the root that form the base of the plant body, which forms the good support system of the entire plant body. So that's one thing. And second, it is the roots that further absorb the water and minerals from the soil. And what do? They transport this mineral to the topmost part of the plant body, the upper part of the plant body, the stem, leaves, fruits, etc. Okay, so there are two important reasons why are roots important in the plant body. One is to give the support system or supporting function, and second is to absorb the water and minerals from the soil and conduct I meant by saying to transport them to the plant body. Next part of the chapter tries to explain what is the need of this water and minerals to the plant body. Okay, now first let us focus what is the need of water. Minerals we will consider later on, but first tell me what is the need of water in the plant body. Now, apart from being the part of the protoplasm, or you can even consider apart from being the part of the cytoplasm, okay, what else can be the role of the water? There are four important functions as mentioned over here. There are four important functions of the water. The first function is in the process of photosynthesis. The equation or the reaction says everything. Okay, as I have mentioned, what is the reaction of photosynthesis? It says when carbon dioxide combines with the molecule of water, it gives one molecule of glucose with the release of oxygen gas. Now, what is the process of photosynthesis? It's the process where plant body prepares its own food, right? But ये अपना खाना कैसे खुद बनाती है? Only with the help of two important raw materials. Carbon dioxide जो plant को मिलता है from the atmosphere, and water which the plant gets from the soil. And how? With the help of roots. When the roots absorb this water, the plant gets that water from the soil. Okay, so here one most important use of water comes to you. Second is transpiration. You all have already done this chapter transpiration with Yogita ma'am, and you all know by now what is the importance of transpiration. First of all, what is the definition of transpiration? It is the loss of the water in the vapor form, right, through the aerial parts of the plant body. So the moment the water is being released in the atmosphere, it definitely is going to give the cooling effect, right? And this cooling effect is one reason which is important, okay, which is important for the atmosphere. And secondly, it also creates that suction pull throughout the plant body. Okay, it is because of this transpiration that the water is being pulled upwards and transported to all the parts of the plant body. So here the second important reason why is water important to the plant body. Third reason, transportation. Now there are various substances which needs to be transported in the plant body. Here when I talk about substances, I meant there are various minerals, and these minerals are always transported in the dissolved form. Dissolved form as in dissolved with the water, maybe in the salt form, maybe in the ionic form, but they are always dissolved in water. So when I say they are dissolved in water, again the transportation medium over here is water. Again, transportation requires water as the important source in the plant body. And the fourth important reason why water is needed in the plant body is for the mechanical stiffness. Now, what do we mean by mechanical stiffness? As in, if I consider an example of a balloon, okay, if you fill air in it, it's tight, it's stiff. Or if you fill water in it, it's again tight, it's stiff. But another thing, if you overfill air or water in it, what happens? It bursts, right? So make sure that even inside the cells of the plant body, the moment or the pressure with which the water is added or it is flowing should not be over, right? And therefore the transpiration and mechanical stiffness, ये दोनों simultaneously होते हैं. So mechanical stiffness is what? This process is giving turgidity. Turgidity का मतलब होता है एक stiffness, एक firmness to the plant body. Now try to understand, plant body is not flexible. It is rigid. It has to be fixed at one position, right? And for that turgidity, it has to have that water content in it so that the cells are turgid enough and they can stay in that stable form for long. Okay, but as I said, the over water can even lead to bursting of the cells, right? So mechanical stiffness is also one more thing, one more importance of water, with importance of water and therefore required by the plant body. Okay, so this were the four important reasons why water is needed. What about mineral nutrients? Now mineral nutrients, as I said, these mineral nutrients are either absorbed in the form of salts or they are absorbed in the form of ions. Like salts, if I say they are nitrates, nitrites. Ions, if I say they are either potassium ions or sodium ions, etc. Okay. What happens to this mineral nutrients? Now this mineral nutrients either absorbed in any forms, either in the salt forms or simple ion forms. What do they, which place do they occupy? Either they become the part of the cell or the cell organelle. Okay, so ultimately they contribute to some or the other part of the cell. We know that in the formation of teeth or bone, calcium is needed. So calcium is what? It is a type of a mineral, right? Same pattern even in the plant body. We need different types of minerals for their building up. Like I'll give you one example. Chlorophyll. To make chlorophyll, which is a pigment in the plant body, we need magnesium. Now if magnesium is not there, there is a yellow coloring on the leaf structure of the plant. So that's a clear-cut indication that magnesium is less in their body. Okay, so somewhere if these minerals are not being supplied in the plant body, there would be some symptoms or some deficiency symptoms which the plant body would be showing. Okay, so students, what happens to these minerals? They occupy some place in the cell or the cell organelle part. Also, they get involved in the synthesis of variety of compounds or in the formation of the different enzymes within the cells, wherever whichever place they find in the cells. Okay, and this is all about the importance of the water and minerals in the plant body. The next part of the chapter explains about the characteristics of the roots for absorbing water. Now, as we have known that the roots are responsible for absorbing water and minerals from the soil, but there need to be specific characteristics which should be present in the root so that it can absorb maximum water and minerals from the soil. Now there are three important characteristics which you all should keep it in your mind. The first important characteristic says that the surface area which should be provided by the root and the rootlets should be maximum. Okay. Now what do we understand by this? See, I have drawn a diagram over here. This diagram is that of a germinating seed. This is a germinating seed from which arises a radicle which gets converted into the root system, right? This is the root system, and these are nothing but the root hairs. So this is a rootlet. This is one rootlet, and from the rootlet arises the root hairs. Okay, so what is the role of this root hair? So if you would say that each of the root hair is going to absorb the water and minerals. So if you would just examine this amount of the root hair, the number of the root hair, and if you would just place them one behind the other, so the length, if you would measure, it would be several kilometers. Yes, it would be several kilometers, and this is what should be the most important characteristic of the root for it to maximally absorb the water and minerals from the soil. Okay, my dear students, here there was a botanist who had performed an experiment, and that experiment he had done on just a 4-month-old ray plant. Okay, what did he see? That in that 4-month-old ray plant, he examined that the root length, okay, he could see that the root length beneath the ground was around 600 kilometers. Yes, this is the known fact which is mentioned in your textbook. You can just read, which is clearly there in your textbook in that highlighted para. Okay, so this was the scientist botanist Dittmer, H.J. Dittmer, who in the year 1937 worked out that a 4-month-old ray plant had an aggregate root length of about 600 kilometers. And later on further research, he could find that the number of the root hairs actually exceeded for more than 14 billion, and their estimated total length would even exceed 10,000 kilometers. Okay, so what exactly is the scientist trying to explain over here? More the surface area of the root, it is so obvious, जितना ज़्यादा surface area, उतना maximum absorption by the root, the rootlets and the root hair. So that becomes obviously the first and the most important characteristic of the roots for absorbing the water and the minerals from the soil. Okay, I hope this diagram and the characteristic is clear, right? Second, the root hairs containing the cell sap should be at the higher concentration than the surrounding soil water. Now, I hope this is not any confusion to you all. What am I trying to say over here? The root hair having the cell sap should be at the higher concentration as compared to the surrounding soil water. Now, what are root hairs basically? You all know what are root hairs? These are nothing but the extensions of the epidermal cells of the root. Okay, so roots जो होते हैं, roots, I would just draw a diagram over here. Okay, for example, if this is the root, okay, if this is the extended root, okay, these are the root hairs, right? These are the root hairs. This is the structure of the root, epidermal cell of the root. These are the root hairs. So what are root hairs basically? These are nothing but the extensions of the epidermal cells of the root. And it's been said that these root hairs have large vacuoles in it. Yes. And what is stored inside the vacuoles? Inside the vacuoles, as you all know it from your last grade, the vacuoles contain something that is called as cell sap. Inside the cell sap, there's water, there's minerals, there's enzymes, there's vitamins, etc., etc. Okay. So this cell sap is at the concentration that is higher. This cell sap is at the concentration that is higher as compared to the concentration that is present in the soil. So, as per the process of osmosis, what is going to happen? The water is going to move from the soil to the root hair. Okay, and this is what I am trying to explain in this second point, second characteristic, that the root hairs containing the cell sap should be at the higher concentration than the surrounding soil water. So in simple terms, the water content in the soil should be high, the water content in roots should be low. अगर root में पानी ज़्यादा होगा, no doubt the root is going to give water back to the soil. Root is not going to absorb the soil, rather the root is going to give it back. Why? By the same process of osmosis. Okay, I hope this point is also pretty clear with you all. Okay, the third point, the third important characteristic says that root hairs, they have thin walls. They should have thin walls rather. If I am saying that there should be three characteristics present in the roots, then here the third point says that the root hairs, again these are the root hairs, the root hairs should have thin walls. Now here we all know that if we talk about plant cells have two protective membranes. The outermost membrane, which is called as cell wall. Inner to the cell wall there is one more membrane which is called as cell membrane. Okay, if we talk about cell wall, it is thin and it is permeable. Now when I talk it is thin and it is permeable, permeable as in it can allow water to pass through. Along with water, it will allow all the dissolved minerals, everything to pass through. Okay, but if I talk about cell membrane is equally thin, but it is semi-permeable membrane. Now what do we mean? Rather, not only semi-permeable, it is selectively semi-permeable membrane. Now when I say it is selectively semi-permeable membrane, what do I mean by saying that? Semi-permeable means it is going to allow the passage of water. Selectively semi-permeable means it's going to allow the passage of only selective solutes along with water. My dear students, since the membrane is thin, the large solutes cannot pass through this thin membrane. It is only the smaller molecules, that too selective molecules, which can easily pass through these membranes. Those molecules which are required by the plant body, they will easily diffuse through the cell membrane. Cell wall, since it is permeable, it is going to let everything get in. Cell membrane, no, it's not going to allow the entry for all. It is going to restrict, and it's going to only allow selective solutes to get in. Okay, so these are the three important characteristics which should be present in the roots so that they can hold the property for absorbing the water and minerals from the soil. Okay, I hope these concepts are clear with you all. So this is all about what you will have to understand in today's slide, in your first slide. Please go through this slide. Please prepare your notes from these slides. And I don't think you all would be having any doubts, and even if you all have any doubts, we would be clearing it once we meet in the tutorials soon. Yeah, thank you.